and gentlemen, it's Shelley Winter. And in the studio, because the greatest real estate show ever, Inside Georgia Real Estate with Shelley Winter, that's me, and my dear friend, realtor, broker, extraordinaire, Deborah Morton of Clario Real Estate. Let's do this. We're coming towards the end of the year, and in radio, we do this a lot. Recap of the year before. We talk about all kinds of things. And so let's recap real estate for 2024.
Absolutely. It's been a fascinating year. You remember at the beginning of this year, everybody was expecting a housing crash, and it never happened. We did experience some crazy high interest rates, and that dampened the sale of homes. So we had a slower year than ever before, but there was no crash. And turns out people still needed to buy and sell homes. We have seen a lot of stabilization in pricing, but we've had a year of affordability issues that carried over into rentals as well. So selling, buying, renting, affordability will continue to be an issue in 2025. But 2024 overall ended up a pretty stable year. And what's happened...
When you say stable, define stable. Just flat, not down as much, or up?
It's down. Number of sales are down, for sure. The agents in the business know that to be true, but we still had sales happen. I think because everybody came into the year expecting some big crash that didn't happen, agents like myself and my team, we've still worked. We've actually had a record year. The NAR lawsuit, the National Association of Realtors class action lawsuit, did impact how real estate was transacted. That was a big thing for 2024, and that's not gone away. That's still going to impact business in 2025 and beyond. But what I'm seeing for expectations for 2025, you and I were talking about it, is we expect stability. Housing affordability is going to continue to be an issue. The economy is recovering. We have a new administration coming into office, and interest rates, the Fed seems to have things under control with inflation. So we expect a lot of stability. And what that means in real estate is if you need to buy or sell, it becomes predictable. And that certainty that creates makes it easy for people to understand what's happening.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Deborah Morton, she's the founder and owner of Clario Real Estate. She knows the answer. So please give us a call with your questions. Did the crash not happen because of the interest rates going up, or it just didn't happen? Like, was there a reason why there was no crash?
I'm not an economist. I never personally thought there would be a crash. The last crash in 2007 and 2008, frankly, that was created by fraud within the industry. Right. There was a lot of problems with how the process of real estate was transacting. Those problems are gone because of industry regulation. So with the regulation in place, anybody who's tried knows it's hard to get financing on a house. There's a lot of steps in place to prevent fraud from happening. A lot of checks and balances in place through the mortgage industry and applications, the appraisals, realtors. We have lots of rules we have to follow now because of that. So assuming fraud is no longer an issue to deal with, then it's supply and demand. Housing prices did not fall because there's still not enough houses for the number of people who want to buy.
Which is going to drive up pricing.
Right. Prices go up when the demand is strong. Now, higher interest rates dampen that a little bit because people can't afford as much. It was very understandable what happened in 2024. But those of us who work in the industry, none of us really saw a crash coming. I think that might have been media hype at the beginning of the year.
Now, you talked about the real estate market for 2024. What did Georgia look like in 2024? I know all things being equal, how did Georgia shape up, versus nationally?
Georgia is still amazing. To piggyback on that, the realtor.com just came out with a new study for the top 10 markets expectations for 2025. Atlanta ranks number 9 on the national list. The South and the West are still the strong points. I mean, go figure. It's snowy and cold up north.
Right,
People want to be down south.
Right.
But there's a lot of factors that come into play with why we are still seeing such strong. We had faster growth after the pandemic. I say growth. We got back to normal here in Georgia faster than other parts of country, which helped us get there was less of a reverberation or ripple effect that maybe other parts of the country had because of the pandemic issues. So we kept working. We had a very robust market 2020 and 21. But in Atlanta specifically and in Georgia, we still have a strong economy. Housing affordability is tougher than it used to be, but on a national level, we're still pretty reasonable and economically we're strong. We have jobs. We don't just have jobs, we have good jobs here in Atlanta. And that is still attractive to people across the country who want a good place to live, work, and play.
When you talk to a realtor, right? So I come to see you. I'm looking for a home. What is the job that you're to provide? Do you go around and look for houses that I described that I want? Like, how does that process work between the person who's interested in buying a house and you?
Well, usually when I meet somebody like you, Shelley, who is considering a purchase, they've already been online looking for a while. I would say that most people start their online search, and the data really kind of supports that, the data we get from all of our online sources. You're going to have been looking at homes online for quite some time before you reach out to a realtor. I would prefer to meet you at the early stages of your search so that I could understand better what it is that matters to you. And it's not just bedrooms and bathrooms and the size of the house. It's more lifestyle. What matters to you? Do you need to commute? Do you need space for barbecuing in the backyard? Do you entertain a lot? What's your work-life balance? And what do you do for fun? All of those things factor in. Do you have kids, pets, elderly parents that you're going to have to be caring for? Those conversations happen to our initial consultation. Then I have lots of technology and tools available to help refine your search. So you don't have to run around all over town looking at things that wouldn't fit your budget or your taste. And from there, my value, the value of any really good buyer's agent who represents you, is going to be in creating a smooth process to closing. And that would be in not just finding the homes, but in negotiating contracts, writing offers that are winning and favorable to you as my client, and then getting all the way to closing through inspections, appraisals, and making sure your financing and your money lines up. Every step of the way, a full service agent is priceless.
So if you're sitting around with your wife, I want to move from this house in a couple of years or a year, we should reach out to a realtor at that point just to kind of get an idea, start looking, that kind of thing. That's what you're saying? Not
just to get an idea, but to build a relationship with someone you trust. It's really not that hard to get a real estate license anywhere in the country, but it's almost too easy here in Georgia. So there's a lot of people who hold a license that could help you when the time comes. But what level of representation do you want, and how much professional skill is wrapped into that person? Just like we would interview, how did you go about finding your CPA or your attorney or any other professional services? If you're going to hire an agent, you should interview that agent in advance. Make sure it's a good fit in personality. We're going to be spending some time together. We want to make sure we get along well.
We didn't have a crash, as you said. So what does 2025 look like? Start the answer. We'll go to break and then come back and finish.
I see stability and predictable selling and buying of real estate in 2025. A lot of people wanted to move, haven't been able to because of demand, because of affordability, because of interest rates. 2025, I don't think rates are going to be super low, but what we can do is predict the number of houses that'll be available, kind of where the interest rates will be, and what to expect. And that is a beautiful thing after several years of volatility and uncertainty.
Let's go to Irene. Go ahead, Irene. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I just want to tell you, I have been listening to your program with Deborah Morton for, I guess, 3 or 4 months now. I listen to your program at night, too. But this young woman has just got it all together. You could not have gotten a better person to talk about real estate, to represent the profession of real estate. She is right on the money. I have been selling real estate. I don't even want to tell you how many, but over 40 years.
Irene, all in Georgia, all in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, I'm born and raised in Atlanta.
So this is fascinating. I've got to ask you this question. You've watched Atlanta transform from almost a small town into a major international city, huh?
Absolutely. And she just is ethical. She's professional. I am not with her company. And I just want people to know real estate is, so many people think it's cutthroat. It's not. It's a wonderful profession. And I wouldn't be calling to say how good this woman is if I was cutthroat. She's just right on it. She's
right here. Irene, she's right here.
I am so grateful for your call and your kind word. I think that's why I was motivated to do this show when WSB reached out and wanted to do something like this. I just think it's so important that the public knows what real estate really can be alike, because it's just, we are so misrepresented. And we do it to ourselves.
Well,
I know
that's what I want to ask both of you. That's why I want to ask you, Deborah, where does that come from? Why does that perception exist?
My opinion is the barrier to entry in real estate is too low. And what's happened is it's so easy to get a license, and there's so many people who practice real estate without the skills, the care, and the commitment. Would you add to that, Irene?
Yes, they think we're pretty close, have a nice car, and that's it. They don't realize what it takes to get ready for a client, to take a client out, or to price a listing. They don't realize what we're doing in the background. It's kind of like teachers. People don't realize what teachers do when they're away from the classroom. And that's the same thing with us. And I started selling, I think I got my license in 1973. We didn't have MLS.
Oh, bless you.
We didn't have computers. We had a runner come around every morning and bring the new listings to us.
God
and the
bless
things that
you.
it sold.
Right.
I mean, I have trained brokers, and I think one of the good things, too, when my sons were, I don't know, I think they were preteens or maybe young teenagers, I studied for my broker's license, and I had the card table set up in the bedroom, and my husband would tell them to stay out, and they saw how hard it was, to get the broker's license, and even they weren't aware when I got my real estate license.
Hold on, Irene. Deborah, talk about the differences.
I would not have survived in the 70s working like that. So my grandpa was a Century 21 broker back in the day with the gold jacket and everything. And I
what city?
It was in northern New Jersey, Bergen County, New Jersey. And I would ride with him to his office. And I thought it was so much fun as a kid going through the old MLS books, the way you had to do things. And so that's my recollection of what it was like. But I am so high tech. I could not function without all of the technology we have now.
Thank you, Irene. We appreciate your call. From the Inside Georgia Real Estate, Deborah Morton and Shelley went to Irene. Merry Christmas and God bless you. Let's go to Susan. Susan in Mableton. Go ahead, Susan. Thank you so much for holding in Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. We plan to put our home on the market in January. We have lived there for 18 years. We have done many improvements to it through the years. We love our home. It sits on a beautiful 3/4 acre lot full of flowers and vegetable garden, but there's not a comparable close to it. And we don't know how to market it, how much to ask for it, for sure. And I just wanted to get your advice. Do you think we should show it ourselves, sell it ourselves through a discount broker, or go with a full broker? Because there's so many little things that we've added. We think that we could show it well, but, people may not like that. I'm not sure what to do.
Well, Susan, you've been in the home for 18 years, so congratulations. I'm sure you've got great equity built up in it. And I hope your next step is going to be blessed and delightful wherever you're going. What is your experience with selling properties or real estate in general? Would you be comfortable with your skill in marketing and vetting the strangers who will want to walk through your home?
Well, yes, because my husband and I, through the years, have owned rental property. We've gotten out of that now, but we have, shown our own property many times. So we're familiar with it, and we do feel comfortable.
Susan, I'm not, Deborah's the expert, but let me just ask you this. Isn't it a different kind of situation when it's a rental versus selling your own home? Aren't the people going to be different and the traffic going to be different?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, people who need a good home, whether they're renting or buying, are, they're looking for a good home. And we like to believe that everybody is vetted, honest, and,
Right.
upstanding who's going to come into our home. So she has said she's comfortable with that. That is a piece many people aren't uncomfortable with, the safety factor of who's coming in my home. So if you have some experience in that arena, that checks that box. But what about marketing your home? Because to get the best price for your home, we'll get to the pricing thing in a second, but on the marketing standpoint, we all know how prevalent the internet is and how AI is taking over, and all of the marketing is now done online. How comfortable are you with the exposure your home will get if you do the marketing package yourself?
I am comfortable with that. I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but I've never been afraid of that type situation.
When you hire a broker, a full service broker, bulk of the money that you're paying that broker is for their marketing efforts and their marketing skills. Their relationships with third-party vendors like Zillow, realtor.com, homes.com, those are all pay-to-play partnerships now. You can list, many of those third-party sites will allow somebody unvetted to, that's why there's some garbage on these sites also.
Right.
There's no restrictions. Anybody can put anything out there. But to get the best exposure, the pay-to-play exists in digital marketing. Then you add in Google, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, all of the other things, YouTube videos, all of these things cost money to market well. And when you hire a full service broker, that's kind of the intangible that the public often doesn't realize is happening. They're like, why are realtors so expensive? Well, a good brokerage is going to spend money marketing your home, and the benefit to you with good marketing is that more people will be exposed to your home. So if you have a delightful home that you have cared for years and has features and benefits that need to be shown to bring the top dollar that you deserve, then more people have to see it. You can stick a sign in your front yard and hope somebody drives by and sees it and sell your home that way if you like. You are perfectly within your rights to do that. And if you're a prayer, maybe the right person will walk in the door and buy it for you.
Right.
But the odds are better if you market it. And then I have to add in the digital marketing packages that we do also go nationally and internationally now. We were talking in the last segment about Atlanta being
Why is that important internationally?
Because people are moving to Atlanta from outside the area.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you want your home to be presented well and professionally, show off the desirable features that it has, then if somebody is moving here from, say, Washington or England or somewhere to take a job in the Atlanta marketplace, wouldn't you want your home to be shown to those people as well? The more people who see it online, and then we have to step to, that's where professional staging and photography and videography comes into play. You don't have to have those things to sell a home. But if you want top dollar for your home and you want to dangle it out there to the best buyers with the most money, the most qualified people, it certainly helps to have all of that because people are shopping online first.
What is the added value? What's the extra amount of money has anybody ever seen? The professional service and stuff.
Yeah, the National Association of Realtors has lots of studies about how a professionally staged home could bring as much as 6 to 8% higher sale price. That's just in staging.
Right.
And then when you add in, I mean, Susan, we've all looked online and seen homes that you're like, why the heck wouldn't they wash the dishes and take a picture of the kitchen?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I know you wouldn't do that because that's just common sense. But those are the things that you're hiring a full service agent to do. There is the option of going with a discount brokerage. And
That's what we were thinking of.
you can do all of these things yourself and then put it, and that will get you on the MLS. It won't get you, the third party sites will pull from the MLSs. But what we are at a point in digital marketing now where I have to pay extra to the third party sites to get my listings boosted. That costs money, and a discount brokerage is not going to do that. So your home could be on the MLS and it could get into those third-party sites just with the data feed that streams through it, and you can find it. It's just not going to be exposed to as many people. So that's an option as well. So there's 3 options. For sale by owner, you can stick a sign in the yard, sell it yourself. You can do a discount broker, which is just basically an online listing. Then you have to answer the phone, set the appointments, negotiate the contracts on your own.
So what does a broker do?
The discount brokers do almost nothing. Like you don't want them to. You're not paying them anything, so you don't want them to do anything.
I.e. discount broker.
Yes, like Susan has some skill and ability herself. Now, completing the contracts, vetting the buyer, working with buyer's agents for the buyers, those are all things that you have to factor in. Like, do you want to work with buyer's agents who represent buyers? Who's going to fill out the contracts? Who's going to set up with the attorneys? Who's going to work with the mortgage lenders to make sure you get the money that you're due at closing? Who's going to handle the inspections, and who's going to work with the appraisers? And then back to your original question, how do you price the house?
Right.
So
and how do most people price a house?
So there's lots of ways. In a cookie cutter community, which her home is not.
What's a cookie cutter community?
Would be like there's 400 homes in a neighborhood. They're all 3 or 4 bedroom. They're all similar size, age, all of that. That's kind of a cookie cutter style.
Right.
It's different in an area where you've got some acreage or it's a very unique property like this. As she knows, there are not easy comps. Susan, what you could do is hire an appraiser of your own, independent, and you could do that. If you want to get an assessment of value the way an appraiser would look at it, that'll cost you $500 to $700 or so, and it would be money well spent if you're going to go the do-it-yourself route.
Right, I agree.
A full-service broker like myself would do all of this for you. That's what we do when you hire somebody who is full service.
Do you want to give Miss Susan your email and all your information?
Yeah, if you want. I do no obligation, there's no pressure. It's me, just like I sound on the radio. I am in person. Inside Georgia Real Estate is the site. You can look us up online. You can follow me on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, all the things I can find. And that is also how we market our homes in all the places all the time. So.
Susan, email Deborah, Deborah, at Clario.
Real estate.
And Clario is spelled Clareo. Realestate.com.
Yeah, and my office is I have offices in Midtown and Marietta. I'm right in the area. I'm happy to talk further with you online. But your question was outstanding because your question is what is on many people's minds, and that's what I'm here to help. You don't have to do anything any certain way. You can do it any way you want. There are pros and cons to both. You hire a full-service broker, it costs money. Right. You get a lot for it, and you should get a lot for it, but it does cost you. There's a mid route, which is a discount broker, and then you can always do it for sale on your own, and each of these things have benefits and consequences you need to be aware of.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's wonderful advice, and I'm very grateful. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you so much for holding on as long as you did for us. I appreciate it, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you wherever you're going.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, Susan. God bless you. We'll be right back with a short segment. I want to ask you, you had said to me about Toys for Tots.
Yes.
Tell us about that when we come back. What a great call from Susan.
Oh, gosh. She's amazing.
That was a great call. Yeah. And I like the fact that you said there are pros and cons to any way you do it.
Absolutely. That was my motivation for wanting to get the word out.
Right.
There is not any one certain way you have to do anything. And it wouldn't be appropriate to think that you have to do it, the same way. A condo in Midtown is not the same as a single family home in Mableton or Cumming.
Right.
Totally different.
Let me tell you, the only concern that I have in Susan's situation is if I were in that same situation, I wouldn't want my family having people troop through our homes that just reached out to us on the internet.
Looky-loos?
Right. And I wouldn't want people to look, you know what I mean? I'd want you or someone else to vet this person.
Yeah.
Have they qualified? Are they serious? Okay, let's go see the home.
Before they come in.
Because I still live there.
Yes.
And it's, you know what I mean? It's like having
a safety thing.
Right. It's
Yes.
really much a safety thing. So,
For me,
and
it's
Susan seems like she's seasoned. So,
she knows what she's doing, and she'll make good decisions for her family. For me, it's the changes. I don't think the public realizes what's going on the digital, on the back end. There's so many changes that's happened. Again, I mentioned in the first segment, my grandpa was a realtor way back when I was a kid, and things have changed so much, and everything is digitally based now. And all of the online exposure and marketing, nobody starts searching for a home in their car or like just driving around looking. So the presence online and the back end with search engine optimization and the digital ads that we need to be running, even on social, the proper combination of hashtags. All of those things play into the exposure you're going to get. And then again, who is your ideal buyer for a property? How do you reach that buyer? If it's somebody who could be relocating from another part of the country or the world, we need to reach them.
What do you do in a situation where someone is kicking a tire? They're kicking, they're out
there.
call them looky-loos.
Yeah.
How do you separate those from serious buyers? We've got about a minute to go.
So everybody who buys a house starts out as a looky-loo. So they're all worthy of respect.
Well, what's a looky-loo?
A looky-loo is someone who's just browsing.
Okay.
You go to it, back in the day when people went to the store, or I know you're scrolling Amazon, they're putting things in front of you that you might be interested in.
Gotcha.
At some point, you might buy a house. So at every stage in the process, you have to start somewhere. So someone who we would refer to as a looky-loo, it's not that they're wasting time. They're gathering information.
Gotcha.
Part of the process is the information gathering. Do I want a home is this size home right? Do I need a home with these big gardens? I don't like doing yard work. That won't work.
Right.
There's lots of things that come into play there.
Deborah, all your information, where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram. Find me on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Find me on ClarioRealEstate.com. Email, call, send a smoke signal. I'll find it. I'm present. Deborah Morton with Clario Real Estate.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Talk to you next Saturday at 12 noon.